patriotism. The Junior High Order System of Liberty Common High School is excited to have the opportunity to put together this character assembly for the capstone that we guard, patriotism. My name is Michaela and I am in the 8th grade.
As Michaela said, we are very excited to present to you all this character assembly on patriotism because we have so many special events planned for you all. To start, we wanted to talk a little about what patriotism is.
When you type up, "what is patriotism?" on Google, you get about 31 million results. This is a lot of information if you're trying to really learn what patriotism is. So instead of searching that, we decided to just look it up in the Merriam-Webster dictionary.
The simple definition there says that patriotism is love that people feel for their country.
The full definition says that patriotism is love or devotion to one's country. So maybe this dictionary is not the best, but the truth is that we did not find many different definitions.
These definitions give us an example of what patriotism is, but they don't tell us how to show patriotism. Our own school definition of patriotism, and so far it is the only one that implies that patriotism is not only a feeling, but also an action.
LCH says, patriotism is being dedicated to that for which the Republic stands. By this definition, patriotism is devotion and dedication to our country, looking beyond our personal interests to safeguard the greater good for which our Republic stands, which is liberty and justice for all.
So to learn more about patriotism, we have two great speakers. The junior high treasurer, Micah Sanfilippo, will now introduce our first speaker.
Our speaker is an extremely successful woman, Ms. Mailyn Salabarria. She is mom and business owner who has been in the northern Colorado area for the past 12 years. She holds a Juris Doctor degree from Havana University in Cuba and a Master in Mass Communication and Journalism from Florida International University. A graduate from the Leadership Program of the Rockies, class of 2016, she lives in Windsor with her big fat Cuban American family. Please help me welcome Ms. Mailyn Salabarria.
Everybody can hear me okay? Good. Well, my name is Mailyn Salabarria. I am from Windsor, Colorado. And my standard introduction is I am from Cuba, where I was born in Cuba, but made in the US. I want to start thanking you, everybody in the school today, the principal and all the people involved in the invitation to come and talk to you today. I'm very honored and grateful for the invitation. I'm still kind of like surprised that they found that I have something important and interesting to share with you all. Obviously, big thanks to Bob Schaefer for the phone call and to all the team and the kids that have been coordinating this moment. I honestly always start these presentations and conversations feeling like what can I tell you all about patriotism? I'm just a simple Cuban girl trying to build my life in the United States and to provide a better future for my kids. And most people tend to associate when you talk about patriotism, like, okay, we're going to go to the old school lecture, we're going to talk about the principles of the Constitution, we're going to talk about the Declaration, we're going to talk about these lectures and this and that. And when I learned about the topic that we were going to use today, I was like, I really don't think I can do that. As a matter of fact, in real life, I'm still learning about the founding principles of my adopted homeland. How can I share the message of what patriotism and devotion and dedication to my adopted homeland means if I'm still in the process of learning the foundation of that? And then I think that it was this connection of saying, well, I come from a place where I've never had what I have right now. I come from a place where my children, had they been born in Cuba like I did, probably would have never had the opportunities that they are here. And I then suddenly realized that maybe sharing my simple story is the best way to make the connection into what patriotism means for someone like me. What it means when you come from a place where you basically don't have any of the freedom or the rights or the liberties that you have here in the United States, and how that frames your life, whether it's in your profession, in your family, and as a person in general, when you all of a sudden start living in a free society. This is the part, again, where most people tend to believe that you're going to have like this, scholar lecture about the founding fathers, and where people like you guys should start looking concerned, like, okay, she's going to start talking about all these history things and dates and this and that. But again, there's no reason to worry about that, because myself, I'm still in that same journey that most of you are going through in this school and with the education that you're receiving. Because I come from Cuba, which is, most of you probably know, it's been a totalitarian communist dictatorship for over 60 years. I come from a place where the founding documents that constitute the foundation of the United States are censored. I live in Cuba, and I live in a society where the minute that you dare to share the concepts of individual rights and freedom and limited government that we can find in the United States Constitution or the Declaration of Independence, you will be in trouble. You could literally land in jail because of that. And it actually happened. We call it the Black Spring of 2003, when over 95 peaceful dissidents and independent journalists there to make copies of the Declaration of the Independence, there to make copies of the US Constitution, and there to discuss and spread the message of limited government and individual freedoms with their fellow Cubans, and they end up receiving jail sentences for over 20 years, some of them. All these obviously in flash trials that were manipulated by the government and the political police that served the Communist Party. So that being said, today I have been in the United States for 15 years now. As an American, my premise to embrace and stand for patriotism, it's way more simple. For me, the philosophy that I have when I share my devotion and my gratitude for my adopted homeland is that my birth country was already lost to the communist dictatorship by the time that I was born. So my mission is to make sure that my adopted homeland does not go down the same path. It's to make sure that my children will have a society and a place to live that will never ever resemble the place that I have to escape for. That has been my patriotic duty, and that's my personal approach to see and to appreciate what I have in this country today. I think that it's something that I owe to myself, it's something that I owe to my children, and I believe that is something that I also owe to my community, the place where I live, the country and the society that has welcomed me when I was able to escape Cuba. How do I, like in real life, demonstrate or feel what patriotism or what my duty as an American citizen is? It's kind of like funny, because sometimes it's just little snippets of daily life experiences that might not mean much for someone else that maybe has been born and raised in the United States. For example, on Mother's Day of 2001, I walked through the hallways of Miami International Airport, holding 2 small bags with $200 in my pocket, and a folded paper, a Cuban birth certificate in one of my in one of the pockets of the jacket that I was wearing. I was, by the way, physically ill. I was very sick, and I was scared to death. I walked those hallways and I went directly to one of the custom and immigration booths in Miami International Airport. I was just shaking like 10 times worse than what I am right now when I'm talking to a lot of people like you. I was able to pull that birth certificate out of my pocket. I showed it to the gentleman that was on the other side of that little glass window. And I shaken my hands, just gave it to him, and I told him, I am Cuban and I am requesting the protection of the United States government. Now fast forward to last summer, year 2016. I am coming back from a short summer trip abroad with my husband. We land into DIA and I am walking those hallways like a boss. I go to the immigration booth and this gentleman looks at my documents and my papers and he tells me, welcome back home, Ms. Salabarria. I cannot tell you how big my chest felt in that moment, or how hard, how fast my heart was racing. And I looked towards my husband and I told him, do you get it now? Like, do you really understand what just happened in those few seconds? And that's just one example of simple little things in life that make a big difference when you come from a place or a society and you live your entire life. Just as a reference for you, I was 27 when I left Cuba. So I was born and raised under Castro dictatorship. I was educated and indoctrinated in the socialist control school system. So I left Cuba as an adult. There is really like a lot of my foundations at me as a person, my values, my belief that were influenced by that. A lot of my friends always laugh because I tell them that even after 15 years in the United States, I'm still doing a lot of catch up. But I think that when you think and you put in perspective experiences of people like me that are coming from places where we know which one is the worst case scenario of lack of individual freedom, of lack of liberty, of literally government control on every single aspect of your life, you take a different approach to what patriotism really means. It becomes like your guiding light on your daily life. And it becomes, at least for me, this philosophy that I do not take what I have for granted. And I teach my children to not take for granted what they have. And I try to share that with friends and colleagues and everybody that is willing and open to hear the silly story of a simple Cuban girl making her life in the United States, because I believe that only when you put those things in perspective, many of you that were even born after the Berlin Wall fell, that don't know what the communist or socialist bloc in Eastern Europe was, it helps you to put other people's experience in perspective. And then all of a sudden, that part-time job that pays $9 at McDonald's doesn't look that bad. And all of a sudden, the fact that you have to argue with someone else about a specific political issue or debate and you realize that person does not agree with you, it's really not that bad. Because you have to remember that there are places, like the country where I come from, that if I ever dare to do something like that, I would be in jail by now. Because you simply don't question authority when you live in a society where the government control or aims to control every single working cell in your brain. The individual is totally erased for the sake of the majority, and in the process, you lose freedom and you lose individuality and you lose yourself as a person too. There's so many examples and experiences that I could share that I think it might be probably better to leave it open for you guys to ask specific questions. But I think that my closing idea always is, especially when I have the opportunity to share my life, my past life in Cuba, my experiences with young people or people that have never live or suffer in a society, in a totalitarian society like I did, is that regardless of where we are today, regardless of what happened last night, I know everybody today is kind of like having dark circles and sleepy, waiting in the TV to see what happened with the elections. I think that the crucial and important thing is that that is not what defines who we are, and that is not what defines the foundation of what this country was built on. It's principles, and it's going back to the basics, and it's being able to recognize and appreciate the freedom that we have today. And again, freedom of speech is just only one of them. But even in that example, it's learning to appreciate the freedom that I might think one thing, you might think another one, which is totally the opposite, but I will give my life for you to be able to say what you believe, even if I don't agree with you. And when you think about examples like that, like in the grand scheme of our nation and our country and the values and the principles that we live to, I guess that my closing talking point always is, don't let the narrative fool you. The American dream is alive and well. And I think that it's up to us, all of us in this room, everybody outside, it's our patriotic duty to bring our country and our society back to those basic founding principles. That's the only way that we can make sure the American dream is going to be still alive for my children, for you, for yours, and that it's going to be flourishing for many more generations to come. And those are my closing points. So now if you guys have questions. I have one there. Should I just get closer to the microphone so everybody can hear? Yeah, let's do that. Hear you very well.
So do you think that do you think we should stop patriotism even if the ideas that our republic stands for are bad? For example, our current American government is technically socialist. So what would you say about that?
It's very simple. Go back to the principles one-on-one. Our current government obviously resembles a socialist government because we have allowed ourselves to have our government and our political leaders to grow without no measure and to over-regulate every single aspect of the life of Americans. If you go to the Founding Fathers, to which lectures obviously I would recommend someone else, not me, again I'm still learning about them, this is not what they envisioned. This is not what they had in mind. And I think that we as Americans are in part responsible for what is going on. It's not, it's not about the last 8 years or the last 20. It's been happening for a few decades now. So what is to be done is what we need to do is go back to the principles. Go back to be engaged, responsible citizens, where we have a voice in the decisions that our government made. We don't have, necessarily have to run for president. Sometimes in the school board, in your neighborhood association, in your town board, you can have your voice here, and you can always express the points of going back to the principles in so many aspects of our lives. The fact that the government is out of the right course doesn't mean the Founding Fathers were wrong. It means that we, the humans that came after them, kind of like mess up a little bit in their way.
You say that we should return back to our original ideas that the founding fathers presented, correct? But the founding fathers originally didn't mean all of us to have a voice. The electoral college system was implemented because they thought that the public was mostly stupid. So how would you feel about it? I'm just curious how your views on that.
I don't agree with that. I don't had in mind that we were stupid. I think that what they had in mind is that we have to be responsible and be involved about what happens, around us. I think that the way that they designed the foundation of the system of the Republic is actually meant to have people being involved. And if we made a decision at some point in history as American voters or American citizens in general to kind of like lay back and let someone else make decisions for us, that is on us, not on them.
Ms. Salabarria, on behalf of Liberty Common High School, we would like to thank you for teaching us more about patriotism with your story.
We have a little token to help you remember this day. The day you taught us with your story about patriotism. This is a challenge token that with our school emblem on it. Please let us give another round of applause to Ms. Salabarria.
Now we have our principal, Mr. Schaefer, to introduce our second speaker.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you, everyone. Many of you have seen Staff Sergeant Hardcastle from the United States Army in our school. He was here just yesterday talking to people who might have an interest in pursuing a career in the profession of arms. And he's here today to make a special presentation of Liberty Common High School. Please help me welcome back to Liberty Staff Sergeant Hardcastle. Mrs. Dietrich, would you please join us up here as well?
The flag of the United States of America. This is to certify that the accompanying flag was flown over the United States Capitol on August 26, 2016. At the request of the Honorable Jared Polis, Member of Congress, this flag was flown for Ms. Paulina Dietrich upon her becoming a citizen of the United States of America at a special ceremony held in her honor at Liberty Common High School in Fort Collins, Colorado.
Doesn't happen often, but I'm speechless. This means a lot, and thank you, Mr. Schaefer's making it a point to make me cry every time. Okay, thank you very much. This means a lot. I had no idea. I guess that's an awesome surprise. Let's just jump to my slides. Thank you so much, Staff, for doing this. And yes, I'm going to introduce the choir now, so we can continue with the tears. Miss Elizabeth Ogg is going to guide a whole school choir, junior high and high school, in the National Anthem. So could you please stand up and let's sing the National Anthem.
Stripes and bright stars.
like to present you with this, can't speak to this, challenge token with our school's emblem on it. I'm sure you know the history behind it. Now, we have a few last-minute announcements. Oh, never mind. We have a special message from Mrs. Dietrich.
Okay, it's back to me. So I was going to talk about my citizenship, and I am going to. Hopefully I won't start crying again. But as most of you already know, 75 days ago, in this room, our first event, I became an American. 3 weeks ago, I received my American passport, and it hit me. Whoa, I'm actually an American. And then last Saturday, I voted for the first time. And yesterday, in conversation with Mr. Lovely, we said, it'll be over tomorrow. And it feels like that's the thing. No matter, citizenship is not always easy, and it is still your duty to do what your country asks you to do. And that's the way that you show love for your nation. So I have a little quick message that I heard on my citizenship that I want to share with you. So Retta here is going to play it for us.
This is now officially your country, your home to protect, to defend, and to serve through active and engaged citizenship. Together, we are a nation united not by any one culture or ethnicity or ideology, but by the principles of opportunity, equality, and liberty that are enshrined in our founding documents.
And that's what patriotism is all about. We're a nation united. And it doesn't matter what the color of your skin is, it doesn't matter what your culture is, it doesn't matter if you're a male or a female. You still need to be an active participant of this citizenship, your American citizenship. So I'm going to ask you once more to stand up and help me with my American citizenship so we can say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, so Nicole, back to you. Thank you.
And to continue with the great examples of patriotism, we now have Miss Bradley and Miss Throckmorton to present the Foundation Award, and Mr. Kemp to present the Capstone Award.
Okay, Ms. Throckmorton and I are honored today to be here to present the Foundation Award to one of our junior high students. Okay, so just as we heard from Ms. Salabarria, and also from Paulina and from our other students up here, patriotism is more than just a feeling. It actually involves a lot of action, it involves choices, it involves taking a stand for something that's not just for you here and now, but for other people around you now and in the future. And so when we picked this particular student, we all agree that this student does seem to have maturity behind her years in how she thinks about and has this servant's heart and also acts on these servant qualities. Okay? This student in my classroom in science, when I'm, for instance, getting a lab together and she sees me kind of muscling around with supplies and trying to get things returned, she immediately comes and says, let me help. Okay, let me help. She jumps right in. When she's working in groups, she's always kind, always patient, and always focused. She always also exhibits gratitude every day by saying thank you, and prudence by realizing that her choices, again, and what the choices she makes in the classroom is creating an environment that's not just good for herself, but her students around her.
Her devotion to being helpful and servant extends beyond the classroom, however, and into her responsibilities as a leader in her order. At this moment, I'd like to ask Ellen Benz to come down. Ellen demonstrates fortitude by rising to the challenge of leading and directing her peers, despite her quiet and gentle disposition. She demonstrates leadership by directing the order through games, if it's cleaning after lunch, or by planning and communicating effectively and kindly with her peers. She is responsible beyond her years and exhibits initiative and forward thinking, always keeping in mind how it will benefit her order and not just herself. We're offering the Foundation Stone Award to Ellen in recognition of her prudence, her gratitude, and her fortitude. She consistently acts as an example for her peers and as a humble leader, serving ideals larger than herself.
Mr. Tullius was going to present this, but he couldn't be here today. I would do my best imitation of him, but I don't think I could get my voice right. So just pretend that I'm him. You can tell it's not me because it's concise. In Western culture, virtue frequently has less to do with overcoming great difficulties or suffering, and more to do with resisting the ubiquitous temptations of comfort and convenience. Too often at Liberty, we equate good character with merely doing what one is supposed to do, following the rules, turning in your homework, maybe with an added smile or an agreeable demeanor. On the surface, it may seem like our capstone award only reinforces behavioral conformity, but I don't think so. Hallie Miklos is precisely the kind of person whose quality transcends mere conformity, whose cooperation with our moral expectations is the accidental overlap of her generous, humble, and joyous spirit. Her success is largely incidental, rather than essential to her motivation. She has become a leader, not by seeking to lead, but by serving others. She has many friends, because first, she is herself a loyal and tender-hearted friend. She defers to the guidance of those with knowledge, and so she herself grows steadily more knowledgeable and trustworthy. She has proven her character in athletics, in academics, in student life, and most importantly, in the routines and interactions of every ordinary day. Hallie shows us, I think, how to pursue excellence without complaint, and how to be ambitious without arrogance. She shows us how to live in our culture of convenience without complacency, but instead with an eager eye toward the improvement of herself and her community. Those are Mr. Tullius' remarks. I just want to add one thing. If you've ever heard Hallie laugh, and I mean Hallie really laugh, you can't do anything but smile. Here's to Hallie.
With the Best Dressed Award.
Okay, we got money on the line here. So for the junior high nominations, you get a free Jeans Day pass. They're not ready yet, so I'll get them ready. You can pick them up from me on Monday. They'll be for sometime next week. So, for the junior high, the following students win Jeans Day passes: David Archer, Sequoia Connell, Nicole Dilly, Chenchi Lulu, Matthias Lovely, Adrian Evans, Robert Packham, Josh Solly, and Joe Shoemaker. Nice job going above and beyond, junior high students. Looking nice every day. Jeans Day coupon winners for the high school. For the ladies, Lily Buckley, Angie Brock, Katie Cox, Amanda Huggins, Emily Joyce, Olivia Joyce, and Lydia Muse. Something's going on in the Joyce household. Nice job, ladies. One of those students is the lucky winner of $200. And for the gentlemen, we have Josiah Avery, Jack Castorello, Lucas Emerson, Peter Jurgens, Brendan Kosan, Dustin McCluskey, David, who's David DeBoer? Who's that? Would David DeBoer still please stand up? I don't know who that is. We'll get that fixed. I'll let you know if you want a Chiefs Day pass. Okay, so one of those lucky guys gets $200. So give me a drum roll, please, on the bleachers. And your winners of the $200 prize go to Lily Buckley and Peter Jurgens. You guys come see me and we'll talk about how to get your coupons. So, nice job, congratulations.
Okay,
I almost forgot, Mrs. Stoltzfus, very sorry about that. Financial aid night. If you're a junior or senior, raise your hand. If you're a junior or senior. All right, when is financial aid night? Madison Hathaway, when's financial aid night? Putting her on the spot. You don't remember? Who else? Kyle, when's financial aid night? Can anybody help these two out? Just shout it out. When's financial aid night? Tomorrow night. What time, Mrs. Stoltzfus? 6:30 tomorrow night, juniors and seniors. Anybody else is welcome to attend. Please be here.
thank you, Mr. Lovely. Okay, we have some last-minute announcements. Brenda, minutes? Okay, so first up, Guys and Dolls. Yeah? Okay, so we have the high school musical, and it's happening November 11th, November 12th, and on November 11th we have a 7 o'clock at night session. On November 12th we have two, one at 2 p.m. and one at 7 p.m. And $10 general admission. For you, it's only $5, so you got to be there. Raise your hand if you're gonna be there. Come on. Okay, on top of that, if you attend, you get order points and you get house points for attending the play. So, the competition is getting heated, you guys better be there. Okay, and it's at the elementary performance hall. Okay, next we have Canned Food Drive. This is one of our major school events, and here's the thing. We want all of your cans. We want you to bring food. This year the food is going to the Salvation Army, and we're going to have posters all around school for things that they would like to get more, but everything is going to be worth just 1 point for the competition part of the Canned Food Drive. On November 18th, it starts on November 11th, it goes all the way to the 19th of November at noon. Now here's the thing, what if you're coming to the event of the Family Fall Harvest and you bring cans then we will definitely take your cans and donate them, but they will not count for your house or order points. So we want you to bring them up to noon on the 19th. Okay, Family Fall Harvest. For the Family Fall Harvest. Woohoo! Now, listen up. This event is going to be absolutely awesome and amazing, and you better be there or be square. Here's the thing. We're going to have so many games, so many crafts, and pumpkin carving, and all of the things fall. 3-legged races. We're going to have egg races. We're going to do so many fun games. There's even going to be a man there that's going to shoot rockets up in the air. That sounds really awesome to me. And on top of that, we're going to give you dinner for free. You don't have to pay. We just want you to come. We want your family to come. This is one of those Liberty events when we want to see the community really come together, okay? On top of that, you get order points, you get house points, and you get extra points per family member. So who here has more than 3 siblings? Raise your hand. Okay, lots of people here. So those people are going to be getting a lot of points per family member. Then we have the Ambassadors Club, the Liberty Legacies book. It is finally done. Woo! Come on, round of applause. Lots of, if you're an author, if you wrote a story and submitted for the book, please stand up. Come on, people, stand up. Up, 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 up. Come on, there's more, like 20 or something. Please just give them a round of applause. Your amazing stories of your family members are done and ready to be printed, and the books are going to be ready for sale on Grandparents' Day. If you want to buy this amazing book that has some stories that will have you crying and laughing all at the same time, you can pre-order it, okay? So just come and talk to Liliana Batley or any of the ambassador leaders or myself, and we'll sign you up for one. And we have movie night. Movie night coming up for a whole school movie night. This is $5 on December 2nd. From 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. we're gonna be watching Guardians of the Galaxy and Zootopia. There's gonna be a lot of food. Yes, I know I messed up the pronunciation. You can laugh, that's fine. Anyways, it's gonna be an awesome movie night. And ladies, I'll give you the hand up. Let's give a round of applause to the girls. They've done an awesome job. Have they done?
That's the end of our Patriotism Character Assembly.
That stuff.